Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys Board Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And being very awkward over at the other end of the table is our friend Ant back on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back, Ant.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, thank you for coming, especially with how busy work is.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our first podcast on here as coworkers.
Yeah. You guys are working for the same company now.
Yeah.
How often do you guys see each other at work?
Very,
Yeah.
very often.
When he comes out to yell at people about barrels not being where they're supposed to in a timely
Barrel
fashion.
Garçon.
Barrel
Barrel
Garçon. Barrel Garçon. I got like 40 barrels moved the other day.
I needed 120.
I mean, I got a third of them, all right? Where they're supposed to be.
Fantastic.
He had to taste on the truck because it wasn't unloaded.
It's very awkward drinking in the middle of the street at 8:30 a.m.
Yeah.
as people are driving to work.
Oh, the life of working in a brewery. So, what's everybody been up to?
I'm hungover.
Yeah, Jeff was so hungover he bailed on going to watch a movie with us all this morning.
I really appreciated the extra sleep, however.
he texts like 45 minutes before the movie. He's like, "Hey, I'm not going to make it. The hangover is too much."
Too much.
When I got there, you had said you bought the 5 seats around us, and I started looking around. I was like, who are we missing? What's going on?
And then, you said something about, like, since I can't even keep water down, I don't want to throw up in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate as well.
I appreciate it too.
Yeah.
Live
Yeah.
dangerously, Jeff.
Yes.
I don't do well being around vomit.
May
Same
I have a
here.
bucket, please?
Bucket Garçon.
Yes.
Just get the all-you-can-eat popcorn. There's a big bowl. When you come around to the second one,
God.
Like, keep the bucket here, please. You'll be taking
Madam,
partially
trust me.
digested popcorn back.
God.
Oh,
do I get half off because I only really processed half of it?
it's only like $3.50 for popcorn then,
Yep.
right?
$7 for all you can eat.
Yeah, it's true.
Or endless is better statement. Endless popcorn.
Endless
for all you can eat.
popcorn.
All you can eat's not a really good statement.
No.
It's popcorn.
Yes.
But why was I so hungover?
Because we played 10 hours of Twilight Imperium 4 over the weekend and drank a lot of beer during it. Well, I didn't realize you'd gotten so drunk.
Yeah, I
Did you
didn't
go out
either.
drinking after?
No.
Jesus.
I probably could have used more food that day, but yeah.
you
There was
gather
a
enough
bunch of
resources.
snacks and more of the brisket.
Yeah, which I was full, but apparently not
You were
enough.
full of beer, apparently.
Oh, I was, yeah. I was drinking apricot blonde on tap after we tried to pour it, and it ended up frozen because he turned the fridge up too high.
Which actually I had explained to someone today, but Apricot Blonde from Dry Dock is the #1 selling craft beer for Denver downtown.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Nice.
by a huge margin.
What?
The #1 individual brand for Denver downtown.
Huh.
Weird.
That's good beer.
Yeah, it's good to hear some people have good taste.
I don't like it either, but
Incorrect on all counts.
It's an easy drinking beer.
Yep.
It's
Probably why I easily drank a lot of them.
It's far too apricot-y for my taste. Well, I don't like apricots, period.
Then,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
way too
Yeah.
much. Speaking of beer, though, we could also take a second to talk about what we're drinking, because you guys are drinking something fancy. I'm drinking Escape IPA from Epic because I still have a bunch of that.
Yes.
it's great beer.
And I should have more coming, right? And
Yeah, well, if Jeff didn't take all of it, then I wouldn't have had a problem.
Son of
There
a
was
bitch,
plenty.
Jeff.
He had plenty of opportunity. They came for 2 days straight.
I worked for 16 hours. I didn't have the opportunity.
But anyway, so that's what I'm drinking. What are you guys drinking?
I don't know. Ant, what are we drinking?
Jeff looked it up. Jeff, what are we drinking?
We are drinking the Imperial Eclipse Stout, aged in 12-year Elijah Craig bottles from 50/50 Brewing.
Oh, okay.
Ant has a lot of these, apparently.
I have too many.
Yeah.
So I'm moving this week, and I'm trying to thin out my beer cellar. So instead of trying to move 300 extra bottles over, I'm trying to drink through 200 of them.
God.
Oh, no.
It's a lot of money worth of beer.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was finding listings and stuff for a lot of this. This one's not too crazy. Only about $50.
Sure.
Only $50.
Yeah.
I have at least 16 more to go through of that one.
So this is the Purple Wax.
Purple
from
Wax.
2011.
11. These are the smart people a long time ago that decided to let's just make a bunch of different varieties and charge a lot of money for each variety. And then people are going to want each one because they're all completionists and they want to sell them all. And I fell for that. So I have
Three
Flying and
times.
Tinker.
3 different years worth.
It's fine. That happens all the time for us in board gaming too. It seems like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, here's this game, and here's more for that game, and then here's more. And did you say you wanted more? Because here's more.
For $20, you can buy this one family's worth of meeples for Agricola.
Yep, exactly.
You need all 5.
So
So yeah, we played a lot of Twilight Imperium
yep,
for about 10 hours.
Yep.
I made Bob real mad.
Yep. I made Adrian real mad.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
these are all things that happened.
I got last place,
I got second to last place.
and Paul, who had never played before, got first.
Bullshit,
Unsurprising.
Paul.
At his home at his game.
Yep.
So congrats to him. We have a history of
Bullshit.
people tending to get their first time playing. I think it's because all the rest of us are too busy punching each other in the face.
Yeah.
That we forget about the new person. Yeah, you made Bob real mad. Zach made me mad like right at the very end, but I was almost more mad at myself because I could have blocked him like 4 times with the cards I had in my hand. I just kept forgetting to actually look at what was in my hand. So that was really stupid.
Yep. And so it ended with me having control of his home system.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
as
forgot
the
about
ghost of
that.
Prius.
and he didn't take the diplomacy card, so I immediately, because I was the Nalu who always get to go first, I was like, well, I'm gonna use diplomacy on Adrian's home system so no one can go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe the first time I've seen someone's home system taken.
Oh,
in
I've
any
definitely
games that I've played.
definitely seen home systems taken in our games.
Yeah.
It happens somewhat regularly.
Well, especially happens when the clans are because they don't give a shit about their
Oh,
own
Well,
system.
yeah.
I probably could have taken Zach's, but I didn't
Yeah.
because
The reptile. What do we call
the
ourselves?
Reptile Alliance. I think?
Reptile Alliance, yeah.
Because we were the frog chameleon people. I was the turtles, and you were the snake mermaid ladies.
Which are the Nalu, the Zacha, and
You Sarl tribe.
the Sarl tribes.
Now that they're not broken.
Yeah.
Not as broken, yeah.
But it was fun. I liked, for the most part, all of the changes they made. I thought, I really liked the changes to trade, and I liked the changes to the politics/agenda. I can kind of see what you guys were saying about, wanting some of the other stuff from Distant Suns, like hooray, you landed on a planet, and maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I hate that, I'm just going to move right one step outside of my home system, and now I've lost all my ground troops, and now I'm fucked.
Well, that's you don't send all your ground troops.
Well, sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes you start with 4 ground troops and you
Well,
want to land on 2
The word,
planets.
the word choice is kind of relative there. You always have the choice.
Well, so don't land on the planet at all?
No,
Like-
it's if you have four things to land it, don't keep
Well, so
some
you-
up in your ship.
Well, so there's things that will kill just one, so you always want to land at least 2, but then there's occasionally something that will kill all of them. And so you have a planet that's got 2 planets, you take 4 people, land 2 on each one, and then you lose 3 guys. Then you're down to 1 guy, and you only got 1 planet, and that sucks. And it was through no fault of your own, just because that tile randomly got placed in front of where you were.
You chose those planets, so I really feel like it's your fault.
Yeah, whatever.
And you chose to play the odds on that.
Yeah.
I like the random boons where it's like, oh, this isn't as good, but it's still positive.
So you like it when things are good, but you don't like it when things are bad.
Well, no shit. It's not rocket science. It's basic,
I mean-
human.
It's based on rocket
Like-
science, how to get there.
God damn
Damn
it.
rockets.
I
Dual barrel roll.
Yeah, it just felt that it was too. I think, it felt like too empty because you're just like, I'm gonna move here and just take these planets. All right, I've taken these planets. So, and then that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do 90% of the time.
Yeah, but then
anyway.
you're like, do I want to risk sending 2? I'm gonna put a guy there. Do I want to send 2 in case there's the one that kills 1 guy? Do I want to just send 1 in case it's the one that kills everything, or do I want to just send 1 and hope that it's something good or negative? Like there's a little bit of surprise in that, which this one did not have. It just felt like you were just taking things.
That I did not miss. So that was the one main thing I didn't miss from Twilight Imperium 4.
I didn't miss ambassadors and spies. And
Yep, I didn't miss them. I thought I was going to, but I ended up not missing them at all. Same thing with the captains and scientists and admirals and all of that.
Those I didn't. The problem with those is that people just keep forgetting about them,
Yeah,
and they just didn't feel like specific enough to your race.
right. They always felt very much like an expansion for expansion's sake to me.
I can see if they tailored them more towards how the mercenaries were, where it's each of them were flavored towards their actual race, then that might have been more interesting.
Maybe.
and,
But
and if you had cards that helped you remind
Yeah.
what your captains were. So
Yeah. I also didn't miss mercenaries though either. not having the mercenaries in it, I don't miss. What was the other? Oh, the building, like, the cards that you add onto the planets that, like, increase their influence and production. Didn't really miss those. Because, again, that's another one everybody always just forgets about anyway. So,
I mean, for me, the main thing I missed was the lack of choice when it comes to the strategy cards.
yep.
Because that was always nice to tailor that. Some of the different planet types, like the Ion Storm, the Gravity Rift planet, and stuff like that, I like those.
Yep.
And then the Distant Suns. Like, those are the main ones that I missed.
I would agree.
So
I liked a lot of the little changes. Like carriers have less capacity. They threw default capacity into dreadnoughts. The tech deck is way better in every way. There's no crazy tech tree or anything like that. It's just kind of like, what was it, 4 yellow techs, 4 red, 4 green, 4 blue, and you just had to kind of go your way through them. And then all of those weird random upgrades that would require different colors and stuff are just the ship upgrades, and they have the little pips on there that tell you which. You just need a certain colors.
you need
of
a
those.
blue
You
and a yellow, and then on your next technology one, you can do that to upgrade this.
Yes.
So
I like that your racial techs were also color coordinated too, so that they counted for a specific color when you built your racial techs.
oh yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah, it went way too long, but
as is tradition.
yeah, that seems about normal. Oh well. Hopefully we'll get to play it again, and hopefully we'll get more used to it and be able to play a lot quicker.
Yeah, it was. We definitely had some discussions about how the commodities worked, and then how there were a couple other times where it was like 10-minute breaks while looking up specific rules.
Yeah.
For how things changed in this situation. So
There's a lot more like neighboring kind of stuff.
Yep.
And having to worry about wormholes and your neighbors through wormholes. And
then when you're playing with the Mentac coalition, everyone's like, I just don't want to trade at all.
yeah.
Right?
Especially if it helps Bob, apparently, right, Jeff?
Well, he tried to move at me once. Saw how well that worked out for him.
You destroyed everything.
I destroyed literally everything
Yep.
with PDS alone.
Yep.
But what else have you guys been playing? Ant, what have you been playing recently?
Not a whole lot. I'm kind of in the hellstorm of Great American Beer Fest since we've come back from Gen Con. I have played 2 games of Blood Bowl this week, which, I mean, Hellstorm can never slow down Blood Bowl.
Right.
I
You
played
played
one
one
of...
played at work.
I played at work in the middle of a work day. And then, so that was my first preseason game for the new season. That went better than expected. So my Denva Rail Monsters are back for a revamp. And
But it is a new team. You didn't bring back your old
new
star player
team,
points.
completely
or
new
anything.
team.
Yeah.
They're the Monstars instead of the Monsters.
Ah, okay. That's the
Because
difference.
I can't play Undead without having that theme. It's
Yeah.
just stuck in there. I actually wanted to play Khemri, which are slightly similar, but they're more Egyptian gods and skeletons, but somebody else is doing that, and in order to decrease the number of duplicate matches we had, I wanted to just change it up a little bit.
A lot of people played humans last season, I think.
I think, but
Maybe it
this
was-
season we have 2 ogre teams,
Which is
almost
insane.
3 ogre teams, and then I was going to play Khemri, and someone else chose Khemri.
Yeah.
So I just was like, fuck it, I'm going to play Undead, just change it up a little bit, because there's already a Necro in the upper division. So the Darklands just has 1 Undead team. And so my online league started again this week, so I played Khemri.
Nice.
So I still got my Khemri game in, and that also went surprisingly well. 2-0 win against High Elves.
Wow.
It was a bash.
Bash.
Turn
Yeah.
1, kill
Kaz.
2 people kind
Killed?
of game.
Like
well,
dead?
I mean,
Okay.
minus
Kaz.
Edge, minus move.
Retired. You retired 2 people.
First game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I played that. And then, trying to think, I haven't really played anything since Gen Con, but since you guys weren't at Gen Con, the 2 favorite games that I had were, one was we played the Goosebumps board game from 1997, which was surprisingly much better than I anticipated.
This was you and David.
And Paul.
And Paul.
Bullshit Paul.
Bullshit Paul.
And so we went to the gaming hall, and we went there, and we were trying to find some interesting games, and decided, fuck it, let's play some bullshit games. The first game we played was Goosebumps, and then Paul had to go on a work call, so David and I played some weird electronic light game from like the late 70s.
Was it like where you have to use the mirrors to bounce the light around?
No. It was way, way, way old.
Oh.
Like, it was, you put your 4 fingers down on each side of the board, and you had to like press the 2 fingers to match the grid lines, and you had to like click it faster than the other person, so it was a reaction speed game. Action
Okay.
time game. It was real weird. And then we were like, wow, this game's kind of stupid. And we got like 5-6 minutes into it and we're all just like sweating. It was like super intense and like really like stressful. And then we played Ants in My Pants because clearly I had to play Ants in My Pants. And it's a dexterity game where you just flick these little like
Bug
bugs.
parts?
Yeah, these little bugs you flip these little ants into someone's pants, and it was great.
You also,
I think.
Did you play Are You Afraid of the Dark, or what was it called?
Oh, that's what I meant. I didn't play Goosebumps. I played Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh,
That's
okay.
What it was. Yeah.
All right. I love that show.
And then I was gonna play some Bass today, and that didn't work out. So we're gonna play it sometime this week, probably Wednesday.
Nice.
Right on.
You've got minis coming for that sooner or later.
Yeah, that's
right?
why we're trying to get back into it. We played a lot of games where we took a break, and seeing the minis at Gen Con was really nice. And I talked to those guys, and so we're gonna start playing again. And the mini should be here the end of next month.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, they had them painted up there, and they looked real good. So much so that they're like, "Are those the same minis?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I even had to sit there and question. I'm like, I don't think they're the same.
Yeah, they were very detailed. How'd your ogre game go again? Your undead versus ogres?
Did I play ogres? I didn't play ogres.
Yeah, you played it at Epic.
Oh yeah. It was pretty good. I try to think. I was trying to think against the other game I played yesterday. So it went really well. I was kind of scared for a little while because his ogres were doing superb,
They were rolling well.
and I actually injured more ogres than snotlings, which
Is incredible.
the snotlings. Every time I heard a snotling, they would get a stun. Every time I heard an ogre, it was out of the game.
KO.
KO. No, not KO. Injury. Like
Oh wow.
badly hurt, badly hurt, badly hurt.
That'd
And
be
he even used an apothecary, and he still was down 3 by the end of the game. He was down 3 snotlings, and 2 of them he killed himself.
Well, the nice thing is casualties don't carry over in preseason games.
Yeah. So preseason games, it's a oven mitts kind of game where you can push each other over, but you don't do any lasting injuries.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun. I taught him some new things on how to improve his game. He was playing, and I was like, "Oh, you're gonna go for the one turn?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Oh yeah. I don't care if you score against me. We're gonna help you with this." And I showed him how to do it, and he missed one of the rolls, which was inconvenient. But
Was it the landing roll?
no, he went to go pick it up and failed it, so he did the re-roll, and then he went to hand it off, and he failed that. And then I was like, okay, well, let's just go through the motions so you understand. And he did the bonehead, which he succeeded, and he did throw, which was good, and then he did the landing, which is good, and then he did the go for it, which is good. And I was like, well, it would have been really cool
Yeah.
if he didn't fuck up the easy rolls.
Yes.
But yeah, so he took that, and he started writing it down, like how to actually do it in turn order, and so it should be pretty good.
Nice.
Should be a fun season.
Zach, what else have you been playing besides Twilight Imperium 4?
So we finally got a chance, or I finally got a chance to try out Lisboa
Yep.
from Vital Lacerda, right?
Yeah, designed by Vital Lacerda,
Yeah.
published by Eagle Griffin Games.
So far I've been swinging 0 for 2 for his games. Just not my style, my play style, and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
that's Gallerst and Vinos
Yes.
that you tried before.
Yeah, and we tried this one out at game night.
That did not work.
No, we got maybe a quarter through the game in 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was just there were way too many interruptions.
Paul was learning it for the first time.
Yeah, I was trying to remember how to play and remember how to set up. And even though I'd watched most of the heavy cardboard video, I didn't really get far enough along in it, and it didn't quite click. I don't learn very well watching videos. I learn a lot better actually playing. And it'd been a while since I played. I played back in November.
Right.
So
Yeah, we just quit that one.
Yep.
Because we wanted to do other things.
yeah, it was at one point I was like, "Hey guys, how about we just quit this at the end of the first era?" And everybody's like, "Okay, that's cool." And then 2 turns later, it's like, "How about we just quit?"
So we ended up playing it again. Was it this weekend?
Yes, it was Friday.
Friday. Just you, me, Adrian, and Paul.
Yep.
We just did a 3-player instead of a 4-player, and I feel like we finished that one in less than 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was just barely 2 hours.
Yeah. It was definitely, so I think, so this one you're rebuilding Lisboa after the was it tsunami, 3 days of fire, and then an earthquake?
It was an earthquake that caused a tsunami that then there was a bunch of fires that also...
Well, okay. All
Yes.
3 of those things happened. I wasn't saying they were happening in that order.
Oh, but yes, it was it was in 1755, 56. Mm-hmm. And yeah, basically destroyed the city. And so the kind of theme behind it, the king of Portugal got together like a bunch of great architects and business people and everybody, and they put out like got different proposals for like what to do. Like one idea was to rebuild Lisboa like in a different place and just leave that rubble. There was like stuff to clear all the rubble and build all new buildings, rebuild using the rubble and all this stuff. And yeah. But so that's the game. You're rebuilding this.
Yeah, you're basically you're rebuilding it. I definitely feel, and I think because when Paul first played this, he said this might be too heavy of a game for me, which I think that was part of it was just learning for the first time, and then in that environment and stuff like that, it just was a bit too much.
Yeah, because he did say for right now. He said this might be too heavy for me for now.
Yeah,
like at game night situation. But yeah, I do think it is his heaviest.
Let's see. So I think so far I'm past the one game thing. Like I would play it again.
Okay.
I think it's the most interesting mechanically, but it also is even though the theme is well integrated into his like how everything's designed, it felt the most the theme felt the most apart from it.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit more detached than it is in like say Gallerist or Vinos.
And you definitely said you're like it mainly like a lot of it is we're not saying like in Gallerist you're like, oh, I'm hiring an artist, I'm getting a painting, I'm selling these things, I'm getting contracts and stuff like that. This is like, oh, I'm building this thing that gets me these things. Or instead of going like playing the card, be like, I'm going to the noble's court or whatever. You're just like, I'm playing a card and I'm getting this.
Yeah, I'm going to play the green guy and I'm going to do this action. I'm going to do this action. Like you don't say I'm going to take like a fire rubble or I'm going to take a water rubble. It's just like I'm going to take the blue cube. I'm going to take the red cube.
Yeah.
Like so, it definitely the like just kind of naturally the words that we were using were not tied to the theme like they are in Gallerist or Vinos. But
yeah, I still don't know if I don't think I like it still, but I'm definitely less negative on it than the other ones.
Okay, we're gonna hopefully be playing that a bunch more here and have a review for that coming up shortly.
Indeed.
So
I did destroy both you and Paul in that one though, so that felt nice.
Yes, you beat Paul and I pretty solidly.
So like one thing I noticed is that did you ever figure out why you had such a hard time like following us? Because there are these royal favors that you can get.
Yeah, I just never had the favor token.
Well, I was saying, like, did you ever figure out
I have no idea.
Okay,
I have no idea what you guys like. I wish we'd like had a video of it so I could go back and watch and count how often you guys took the action to do that, because I didn't notice you taking it very often, but it seemed like you guys were just constantly following.
Yeah. So that one is for doing the noble things. Like the three big things you can do are take the creeds, which get you points at the end of the game, build a regular building, and then build a public building, and then the royal favors allow you to follow those things. So there's a lot of times where Adrian would do something, and then it'd be like, well, okay, I'm going to follow it. I'm going to do what Adrian did, and then Paul would do the same thing. And then like we were following off each other, and then Adrian was like, oh, God damn it, and then he'd have to play a card to do it. So he definitely fell behind in that regard.
Yeah. There's one, like, I could pinpoint one point in the game where, like, there'd gotten to be some of the public buildings, and you took your turn, and and built a building that scored, like, in double row and column, and then Paul followed and did it. Then Paul played the same card, did that again. You followed and did it again, and I couldn't do it either turn, and then I didn't have the card to do it on my next turn anyway.
Yeah.
And all of those spots were taken. So it was like, well, and that was probably the 20 points for you and the 10 points for Paul that put you guys ahead of me.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't able to catch up from that one turn in particular.
Yeah. I did like that there were a decent amount of things that were like, if you get this certain card, it's, you could get less money. It had like little perks that helped differentiate the strategy. So,
but yeah, we'll talk a lot more about that during the review. So, Jeff, what about you? What else have you been playing?
Played Flatline again at D-Bolt for game night. We got crushed, even on the easiest difficulty.
Of course.
But it was mostly all new players.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah. It's still a fun game. I like it. We got screwed by the card draw where we got all, like, the entire first one we got was all orange cards and, like, none of the actual emergency cards with the die rolls.
Right.
So we had to solve all of them, but there's only 4 slots for upgrades, so we had to just discard whole cards because they wouldn't fit into the upgrades, which was kind of a bummer. And then played something that was new to me, which is Rhino Hero, which is a card stacking game.
Yeah, dexterity one based on card stacking, yeah.
Paul tried, we played a very quick game on the other side because there's ways to set the base of the building where it's more like a square, or you can have one that's just like a V, so it's all folded cards. The one with the V did not last very long.
It never does.
Yeah. But then we went back to the square one. It actually went pretty high. You can play cards as the new floors that tell the next person what shape they have to put the next card on there, and then they can play a card. Sometimes it moves the Rhino Hero, which is a little rhino meeple, from one point in the building to another, which can definitely destabilize things.
Yes, it can.
As a rhino flies around in a very tall...
rickety building.
Yes. That's a lot of fun. It's got good, cool foil cards, which are interesting.
I really want to try like the big version of it.
There's a big version?
It's like Rhino Hero Super Battle or something like that. You can play up to 6 people or something. The cards are like this big,
like Dixit size or bigger.
They're bigger than Dixit size, I believe. And there are multiple meeples that you're moving around too.
Oh, yeah. Rhino Hero Super Battle, which just came out this year.
Yeah. And it was one of the ones at Gen Con that got spot out in a real big hurry.
Gotcha.
I didn't even realize that was its own game. I thought that was just like a demo interesting thing that they had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's its own game. It looks cool too. I'd like to get to play it.
Oh yeah, it's a lot bigger, more like giant rectangular cards.
Yep.
Yeah, like Dixit size ones.
Yeah.
Those are bigger.
Yeah,
those
they're
are bigger
than
than
Dixit.
Dixit for sure.
Mm-hmm. And you can have multiple towers and stuff that you can build up on, and yeah, that looks cool. Mm-hmm. No wonder. I'll add that to my wish list.
Well,
The tiles look to be 2x6 ish.
Yeah.
Yes, bigger cards. That looks like there's a lot more options. I think that's all I really played. Did we talk about Kuub? I think we
Kuub.
talked Kuub. We talked about Kuub last week, didn't we?
I don't remember talking about
That
Cool.
would have been you.
Yeah.
They didn't go to Paul's house.
No, I know, but I don't remember if I talked about Kuub.
I don't think
last
I don't
did.
think you did.
Okay. We played Kuub. Ant really likes Kuub a lot.
Kuub. Kuub.
Yes. You have like 5 wooden rectangles.
Almost like pawns.
This is like a lawn game.
It's a
Well, it's a
lawn
lawn
game,
game, yeah. And you have like an out of bounds, and you have 5 against your back line, and you throw 6 sticks like underhanded at them to try and hit them. If you hit them, the other opponents have to throw them on your half. Then there's always a king in the middle that if you accidentally knock over, you lose, unless you knock over all of their Kuubs, and then you can hit the king.
Huh.
This is definitely, games can go like, 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
or short as 15,
Yeah.
10.
Depends on how good you are.
Or how bad you are.
Or how bad, yeah. Yeah. I liked it a lot. It's definitely a like stand around in the yard and drink while throwing wooden sticks at things.
Yeah, they're more like the things you throw are like batons.
Yes.
And then the pawns are basically 3x3 and then maybe 10 inches high.
Yeah.
So then you're just trying to knock people off. So there's a baseline. You're trying to throw it and knock the people over. And then when you do, they have to basically throw them to your side. And eventually it gets staggered where most of the people are on your side of the field, but it's easier to hit the people that are closer. And it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Simple.
Fun yard game.
Yeah, I think I played it like a couple years ago and I enjoyed it.
I know I've seen people play it at some of the different like barbecues our friends have hosted, but I've never played.
So Mallory used to have it when they had the apartment with like the sandbox in front.
Yeah,
That's when we played it. It was
Okay.
like 5 years ago.
yeah. I think I also played it once at one at like Eldar's old place too, or saw it played there. Like I said, I have never played it, but right on.
Yeah.
So
And then I played Twilight Imperium.
yeah,
A lot.
all damn day.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, that wraps up everything that we've been playing. So I think we're ready to move on to our next segment. Isn't
Indeed.
that right, Jeff?
Indeed it is. Go on to news. There's not a lot of news this week. With Spiel coming up, a lot of the preview stuff is coming out. One of the first things that has sort of come up is Manhattan Rises Again. Or I guess that might just be the title. But
Yeah. The name of the game is just Manhattan.
Yes.
but it's a remake of an older game. I'm not sure how. 1994, it won Spiel des Jahres.
which was the year before Catan.
Yeah. But basically, this game, you're building towers. So in the original one, it was themed like you were in the city of Manhattan, you were building skyscrapers. This one's like now you're in the jungle. Like the map looks like there's sand dunes and forests, and I don't know. I can't tell if they're supposed to still be buildings. I think they are. But you're building taller and taller and taller, and it's a little bit of an area control game while also trying to have the tallest building. It looks kind of interesting. Like you all have a set of starting buildings that are 1 to 4 stories tall. And at the start of a round, you choose 4 or 6 of these buildings, depending on the player count, and you place them on your personal board. And then on a turn, you can play 1 of the 4 cards, then place a building from your personal board onto 1 of the 6 blocks in the same position indicated on the card, and then you draw a new card. So like that tells you where to build them, and like you're trying to play cards to build like so where you can place yours on top of other towers, because whoever is the most recent to place on a tower is in control of that tower. So yeah, I don't know. Looks kind of interesting. Might be
people really like this game.
Yeah, might be the kind of game that could do well at game night. Looks cool on a table, especially as you build the stacks taller and taller. It seems like the gameplay itself is relatively simple. So
I mean, the art's really pretty too.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I think it's been pretty hard to find for a long time too.
Yeah, so it's but it's getting a reprint. So from Ravensburger.
Hooray! Speaking of Spiel 2017, the BGG preview is up. A lot of it's in German, and so I had to do some translating to figure out what I actually was looking forward to. Mostly that Power Grid Fables expansion is on there, and that looks real good.
Yeah. I'm going to be pouring through the Spiel preview a whole bunch, looking for some games. I'm sure we'll do a little bit of a Spiel preview leading up to Spiel, which is in late October.
You can do a Spiel?
A Spiel?
I mean, come on.
Fair enough. So yeah, we'll do a Spiel leading up to Spiel, which that's in late October. So sometime in October we'll do an episode and go over some games that we're looking forwards to that are coming out at Spiel.
I know,
Adrian,
there's
a whole bunch of them.
You'll probably have a lot of them just because they're heavier games.
Correct. Definitely looking forward to some Euros already.
Yeah.
But the preview thing, they had the tool, like it worked really well for Gen Con and for tracking down games that are going to be at Gen Con and where to find them. And I think that hopefully the Spiel one will be just as good.
Fingers crossed, if you like heavy games.
I mean, there's a lot of not heavy games that come out at Spiel as well.
I know. There's a lot of stuff I'm looking forward to. Next up on news, we have Castles of Burgundy, the dice game.
Yes. So even though Castles of Burgundy already has just a ton of dice, they made a dice game for Castles of Burgundy, which has Ant miming blowing his head off.
So you're saying it's your favorite game? You want to die because you can't have it right now?
Fuck it. No. I can't even make a joke about it. Fuck that game.
Yeah.
I hate dice games.
Yeah. So this is kind of like a roll and write game, I think. Looking over it, which those are real popular these days.
Isn't that just Yahtzee?
Basically.
Okay.
Oh, so what you're saying is there's a Yahtzee game coming out. Got it.
Yeah. Castles of Burgundy is a kind of popular game that's been around for a really long time and is well regarded by some and not so well regarded by others. But I'm not entirely sure that it needed its own dicey version. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it.
Definitely a roll and write.
Yes.
Lots of writing in this preview. Next up in news, something from last week, I believe, that we missed, is Azul.
Yeah. It is the second game coming from Plan B Games. It's kind of a tile laying game about laying tile. So I think that's kind of neat. Like Zach's the deck building game.
Which I haven't seen show up in a while.
I got it because of the pun. That's about it. It's not a good game.
But so this is coming out at Essen. It is a game about, like I said, laying tile out to kind of decorate a palace. And it uses the azulejos. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what language that actually is. If that's Portuguese,
white and blue ceramic tiles.
Yes, originally introduced by the Moors.
It's Portuguese for sure.
And yeah,
fully embraced by the Portuguese. Yeah,
which so a lot of that blue that you see in this is also reminiscent of the blue in Lisboa,
which I like.
Because that's a very common kind of tile thing.
But look, they also have not.
This does have not just white and blue. Yes, but yeah. So it's there's not a lot of information out about it currently, but there should hopefully be more.
So this game looks real pretty.
Yes, it looks gorgeous. And I think Paul has already pre-ordered it. I sent the link to him, and I'm pretty sure he already pre-ordered it. So yeah. I don't know. Keep an eye on it. And
coming out October 26th to a friendly local game store and online near you.
Be about $40.
Yeah. And that's it for news. But what we do have is plenty of Kickstarters. Starting first with, I don't know, my favorite, just because it's funny.
Yeah.
Consentacle, a card game of human-alien intimacy. This one is well-funded. 66,000 of its 35,000 goal, 1,800 backers, and this one's got a little bit more than 3 weeks, and you can pledge this one for $32.
So note that this is a game about a tentacled alien and a curious human that have a mutually satisfying romantic encounter. The consent is paramount in this. It's not...
It's tentacles, but yes, I agree to this tentacle.
Yes,
friendicles.
Yes. It says with or without the benefit of verbal communication. So aside from how ridiculous it seems on face value, I was reading somebody who had played it said that it actually is a pretty solid game, and that it has some like good messages about consent and communication in a relationship.
In a tentacle setting.
Yes.
It's not graphic.
No.
In any way, but the art style is real cool.
They're like gazes and winks. And
yeah, I mean, there is a release card where the girl clearly has an O face.
And restrain.
But yeah, so you build trust by generating trust tokens in your color, share trust by pooling it in the middle, create satisfaction by combining one of each color into one satisfaction. Take satisfaction. How satisfied can you get individually and together? 5, do it even more. That's the 5 steps to playing this game. Yeah, I don't know. It looks. I don't know. I think it looks a little weird, but I don't know. I've heard that it's actually pretty good. So
yeah.
Yep. But this one's also limited edition too, so this may be your only chance to get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can get little tentacle finger things with one of the pledges as well. So
it's the implications.
Yes, the implications. So yeah, Consentacle. You got about 3 weeks. Take a look at that one.
It's $32 for a base pledge.
Yeah. Next up on Kickstarters is something we woefully and regretfully forgot that started last week. The Network's Executives expansion. Super well funded, 78,000 of a 30,000 goal, 1,600 backers, and about 2 weeks left to go, and you can pledge that one for $29.
Yeah. It actually kills me that I haven't had a chance to play Executives yet, because Gilhova was at both Geekway and Gen Con, and although I got to meet him and talk to him a little bit at Geekway, still have not got a chance to try out Executives. But I love the Networks. It's one of my favorite games that I don't own, and I'm really excited for more of the Networks. I like its art style. I like its humor. I think it's a really good game. So
we get it comes with 12 executive player boards, 5 network player boards, executive cards, mogul cards, 26 season 0 cards, which I guess are new starter ones.
Well, and then there's going to be like drafting now as a variant. So for the starting stuff.
Gotcha.
And a lot of these season 0 shows, like some of them are significantly better than like the normal starter ones. Like they have like 7 or 8 viewers in their first season,
and they're all still hilarious.
Yes,
that's inedible.
Major League Tiddlywinks.
Oh, I watched the Major League Tiddlywinks. It was rough. That was a real thing that actually happens. Google it. It's real boring.
Of course it is. But yeah, so the biggest addition to the game is the executives themselves. And basically they give you distinct powers and liabilities that will affect how you can run your network.
Also, the mogul cards. When you get your genre bonuses, you can take a mogul card. So there's some more to the genre bonus than just extra stuff now.
Yeah. Looks real interesting. I definitely am probably planning on pledging at the $80 tier, where you get the copy of Networks, you get the expansion, and you get some of the little extra bonuses.
So when this game came out last time, it was pretty available once it was actually released, right?
I think it sold out pretty quickly, though.
It did, yes. And it took him a little while to get another print run going. Because I remember when I got it, like he would bring like a couple hundred copies to like Gen Con or some of those other ones, and they sold out pretty quickly. So
because I was looking at the $80 thing too, but it's July of next year, right? June of next year.
July 2018.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe I'll take my chances at Gen Con next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it looks really cool. I'm super interested in it.
You've played the regular one though, right?
I played a partial game.
Okay.
I know the basics of it.
Gotcha.
One thing I like is that one of the stretch goals is just that the executives have signatures now.
That is a nice little touch, though.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, clearly they're probably going to add it no matter what. But
yeah. It's to help. It makes it easier to distinguish from one from another too. Apparently, so
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Networks Executives expansion.
Yep.
Back it 2 weeks.
Looking forward to it.
Next up on Kickstarter is Someone Has Died, a silly game about serious business. Not quite funded yet, but close. 9,800 of its $15,000 goal, 322 backers, and about a month to pledge this one. You can get this for about $22.
Yeah, so Someone Has Died. The thing that's kind of interesting about this is it's another improvisational storytelling game, which I really like some of those games, like I Dark Overlord and such. And so this one, it takes place at a will arbitration, and so you're trying to basically make your case why you should get part of the will. And so you have identity cards, relationship cards, backstories, and you can play objections on each other. Your identity could be a robot with feelings. Your relationship with the deceased is they friend zoned you. A backstory: 2 rabbits who you thought were both guys but definitely weren't. Are some of the cards, and so
Objection. You owe the deceased $10.
yeah.
What a dick.
So it plays out over 4 rounds. There's opening statements where you introduce your characters using all 4 of your cards and state your claim. Then there's the interrogation round where whoever the estate keeper is asks each player individual questions loosely based on their story. Players must all incorporate a new backstory card into their response. Then there's the recess round where players break for lunch and get to informally ask one another, player, estate keeper included, an individual question. And then there's final statements where you draw one last backstory card and make their last effort to convince the estate keeper that they should get the fortune. That sounds hilarious to me. It's kind of dark that it's, arguing over a will, but the art style and just the general flavor text for the cards and things, I think, kind of help bring some levity to that. And I don't know. I'm interested in it.
It seems pretty cool. I especially like this. The estate keeper can reward another player with an objection card. And then at any point, that person can use it on another player. And now that's part of their backstory that they have to incorporate.
Yeah, I don't play enough of these kind of games, and I always want to play more. Sometimes they're hard to break out.
Yeah.
You need the right people.
You definitely need the right people.
I would say the only thing right now, at least, let's see, is that it's 108 cards in total. So it seems like
that's not a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when there's only 18 relationship cards, so it might start to feel very repetitive.
Yeah. It looks like one of the stretch goals is a dirty deck too, and so that's more cards at least. But they're gonna, NSFW, so we'll see if it's actually a good version of that.
Yeah.
Or a bad one.
There is a stretch goal for more cards.
Yes.
Too.
Well, yes. Yeah.
I got $1 says one of them is the mistress prostitute.
Which if it's stuff like that, oh yeah, I'm the mistress and I want to cut because whatever reason, that's one thing. But if they just get really raunchy or
it's gonna be raunchy. There's no way it's not gonna be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can hope that they don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, gonna kind of keep an eye on this. It's got a little while to go here still.
About a month. Someone has died.
Yeah. And it's $5 for full print and play and $22 for a copy of the game.
Indeed. Next up is Adventurescapes. This one is just about funded. It's at 40,000 of its $50,000 goal, 344 backers, a little bit more than 3 weeks left to go, and you can pledge this one for about $65. Yep. This is a bunch of cool-looking D&D terrain.
Yeah, just all kinds of RPG or miniature type terrain.
My favorite part is that they have a cook hat, and then they have a mimic cook hat.
I don't see many pictures on here, understandably so, of it not painted, but the painted stuff looks fantastic.
And it's not an unreasonable price for the painted version.
It's $100 for the base painted, which if it's this quality, then that's amazing.
It's 65 for unpainted, 101 for painted, and that's early bird, which is still available.
Yeah. This is basically what is going to Well, it's what is going to become like, my new segment on this, the RPG shit that I wish I could A, afford, and B, that I had time for.
And C, that Ant's going to buy probably third of the things that he looks at slowly over time.
Yes. I just need to find like more time that I can put towards doing RPG stuff, because I really like the idea behind RPGs, and especially like if it's stuff like this where there's cool miniatures and rooms and caves and things that I get to move a piece through and like talk about what's going on. And oh man, yeah, I always get really excited. The possibilities. So far it hasn't quite lived up to it, but I maintain that I'm still excited by the possibilities.
But as we get closer to a new ski season, these are the things that I've been looking at pretty intently, because I looked at this already this week, and the Dwarven Forge that came out over the summer was really nice, and this is pretty similar quality, very affordable as well. It's $65, but it's like per theme, and they have 3 different themes. One's a kitchen, one's a docks, and one's something else.
Alchemy chamber.
Alchemy chambers, yeah. So the items are very specific, but they're very well detailed. The only problem that I have with them is that they're so specific that unless you want that one room, like it's kind of not worth it.
Yeah, like some of the stuff you could move around a bit, like bookshelves and tables and things, but things like the round door or like the mortar and pestle set, like that's hard stuff to find and use like in other, just randomly.
But that's why they have the nice $25 add-on sets that it doesn't give you the room tiles. It just gives you the miscellaneous items that go in the rooms, plus like the floorboard type tiles, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I might buy some of the $25 add-ons and just ignore the specific items.
I just wish I had room to use all of this stuff.
But now you're on our condo, so.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And there's a huge table up there to just cover and shit like this. Or play Twilight Imperium.
Oh, God.
You can play it over 3 days.
That's true.
But yeah, so that's Adventurescapes.
But then I would forget the hate I have for other players in that, overnight trip. So next up on Kickstarters is something we talked about last week that was starting. Wander, the Cult of Barnacle Bay. This one is well funded, about 81,000 of its 50,000 goal, 878 backers, and a little bit more than 3 weeks to go. There is just one real pledge for this one for $90. There is also a $200 retailer pledge. This is our weekly $100 miniatures Kickstarter.
Yep. Yeah, so Jeff, you kind of checked this out at Gen Con, so how about you tell us about this, because I don't know really much about it at all.
So they did a Kickstarter last year that was just like general animal like hero people, like a turtle guy and a bunny fighter and stuff like that you could use in just sort of different mini games. So they've made a whole game around those minis now with backstory. I guess you could compare it to like I want to call it Super Adventure Island, but it's not Super Adventure Island.
Super Dungeon
Explorer. I've been reading a lot about the Genesis lately. So.
Gotcha.
And those types of games. They're not chibi or anything like that, but it comes with a ton of miniatures that are really good size. It's basically like this cult is like mutating all of these animals. Like otters are turning into crab people, rabbits, crab people, bear sharks are the big guys, bat casters. They're like cats that turn into bats. And rabbit archers, which have like crazy tentacles. Tons of double-sided terrain, and then the base set has a bunch of mini bosses and like big boss miniatures. So you have like I think it's like an 18 mission branching campaign, kind of similar to Imperial Assault, where you can kind of split off.
Okay.
So you can play it over and over and get like a bunch of different scenarios. And then their stretch goals are more heroes and more miniatures, and of course, that's what's in there. They also have their mini Kickstarter from last year you can get in there, which is all basically younger versions of the people that are in the Cult of Barnacle Bay.
Okay.
That's kind of how they've themed it. They've kind of grown them up and put them into this game, which have different player cards. There's dice expansions, and then all the miniatures you get from that are pewter instead of plastic, which
That's
is
really nice.
Yeah. They have a ton of extra stretch goals, which are adding a bunch more heroes. I would say it's similar to Zombicide when they used to give those away for free instead of $10 each.
Right.
I really liked this game's initiative system because it was like a random card draw that you would put onto a track. It would be similar to, I don't know, like Final Fantasy, where you'd have your initiative track there, and that could change depending on speeds and stuff like that of your actions and things. But I played through half of a mission in like 25, 30 minutes of their demo, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Right on.
And my friend Mark knows these people, so
Yes.
he's good friends. It's like 3 people that made this whole thing, so they were really excited that they funded like in like 36 hours or something like that.
So it's like 40 to 50 models for $90?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great price.
Yeah.
For pewter. That's a great price.
All of this isn't pewter, but the hero minis in the...
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
It's still reason. I would buy it just for the minis, but
Yeah.
they weren't as repetitive.
Yeah. The only knock I have against it is all of the poses are the same
Yeah.
for like the different guys, at least in the version that they're currently showing. It would be nice to have some variation in those, but they're a small company.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Next year, they'll have just Otter Grunt Kickstarter, where it'll be all the different poses. Yeah, that's Wander, the Cult of Barnacle Bay. Funding in 3 weeks.
Right on.
Take a look.
So that wraps up all of our news and Kickstarter. Although actually, I almost forgot. Just throwing this on there probably could have went under news. I don't know, or recent stuff we've been doing. I was invited to join Draft Mechanics Fantasy Board Game League, and there was the draft for that this earlier on Sunday.
What Donde Está Fantasy Board Game League?
And so this is a thing they started last season as kind of a joke that actually people kind of liked, and they decided to kind of run with it. And so basically you draft a team of 10 board games, 13 total board games, and you field 10 of them each week in head-to-head matchups. So it's based off of like fantasy football, fantasy baseball, whatever. And they will be compared based on BGG rankings, change in BGG rankings, logged plays of the game, and then a listener voting component. So all of the fans of the Mahai Game Guys are going to need to be, helping me out here and voting for my board games to win my matchups. But the 2017 first round draft picks were Terraforming Mars, King Domino, Patchwork, Clank, Codenames Duet, The Climbers, Ex Libris, Through the Ages First Edition, Arkham Horror the Card Game, and Codenames Classic.
Through the Ages First Edition?
Yes. It's a very strong performer still because it's got a really high BGG ranking and still gets a ton of plays.
I think you pronounced Blood Bowl wrong.
Yeah, I didn't.
The word is Blood Bowl.
I didn't see.
Blood Bowl was not on there.
Are you sure?
Nobody drafted Blood Bowl.
Why?
Well, maybe if all of your league regularly logged their plays on BGG, it would make Blood Bowl worth drafting.
Well, we do that on NAF.
Yeah.
Which is better.
Anyway, so I unfortunately wasn't able to be there for the live draft, and I had set up like a really nice spreadsheet with like the games I wanted like in better rankings listings, and I did it all on my tablet last night after Twilight Imperium, which was never connected to the Wi-Fi, so all the work I did never uploaded. So this morning when I went to send that to Jake, I didn't have it. So then I spent 20 frantic minutes going through the BGG, just throwing games on a list that I sent him. And then he drafted for me, so my team will hopefully be good, which is why the team name for us is the Most Hopefully Good Games. So it's still MHGG.
So we've got all really
Good
just
recovery.
light games. Gallerist, Great Western Trail, Feast for Odin, Whistle Stop, just all easily accessible.
Well, so you're required to field... So you're required to have each week a gateway game, an abstract game, a Euro, a card game, and a heavy game. So my gateway game is Secret Hitler, which I think should work pretty well. Mm-hmm. My abstract is The Climbers, which Clay sold out of that at Gen Con, so I'm hoping that continues to get some good plays. And the Euro is Great Western Trail. That one I'm not super excited about. We'll see how it does, but that one might be getting dropped. Card game, I have the Seventh Continent, which I'm really excited about picking that one up.
Second Kickstarter starting soon.
Yeah, and that one is supposedly, pretty great and really hot right now. My heavy game is the Gallerist, which is accessible for a heavy game. Feast Road is still pretty popular. I have Pandemic Legacy Season 2, but that's going to ride on my bench until, like, I'm hoping that when it releases, like, I'm hoping that that'll give me a late season push.
When's the season end?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. It's like,
It's not like NFL timeline?
I don't believe so. 9 weeks. The next 9 weeks. So, no, it's not the NFL timeline.
It's kind of close.
It's going to be kind of real close. So Patrick from What Did You Play This Week, he took Charterstone, which, Patrick, I don't think Charterstone's going to be out in the next 9 months. Or
9 weeks. Yeah.
I also might have to drop Black Souls for the same reason. It's not out yet. But yeah, Mystic Veil, Whistle Stop was really popular at Gen Con.
Yeah.
I have Seikatsu as a potential swap in for my Abstract. Clank in Space. Because that was also really popular at Gen Con, and I'm hoping might be able to perform well for me. And then my Dark Horse, Nusifjord. I'm hoping that when Essen rolls around, that one gets really hot. New Uwe game. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's not as bad as I expected, considering I wasn't there to live draft, but it's also, I'm not sure if it's going to be any good. This is my first time doing it, so trial by error.
Of course, Draft Mechanic got Terraforming Mars on theirs.
Yes, that was the number one overall draft pick.
Yeah.
Sons of bitches. Don't blame them at all for taking that one.
Yep.
But if you want to find out more about this, you can jump over to Draft Mechanic's website, draftmechanic.net/FBGL for Fantasy Board Game League. And you can see all the different teams that are in there. I'll be competing with Boards Alive, Board Game Blitz, Board Game Gumbo, The Cubist, Dukes of Dice, What Did You Play This Week, and of course Draft Mechanic, who is hosting it. So we'll see how this goes. I might get beat real bad.
Don't you fuck this up, Adrian.
In which case you can all mock me.
I didn't know this existed before, but don't you fuck it up.
Yeah, go check that out.
Indeed.
And I'll be keeping you guys abreast of my competitions each week and encouraging you to go vote for my games and play my games.
Yeah.
And log plays of them on BGG. It does me no good if you play the games if you don't log them on BGG, damn it. So do that.
If you would have picked Blood Bowl, we could have just automatically logged all of our last 5 seasons in 1 week.
We would have crushed Blood Bowl.
They do have a thing. If somebody logs too many rapidly, they cut it so that you don't.
We got 20 people now.
We got 20 people, and they're all playing games every week. Would have crushed the Blood Bowl.
Well, maybe I'll drop Pandemic Legacy because I'm not entirely certain that's going to come out in time.
Not a lot of plays getting logged of Pandemic Legacy
like
yet?
hotness and hype part of the accountability?
No, not particularly.
Oh, well, yeah, we done fucked that up.
Well, like I said, it's entirely there to hopefully be a late season push. Like, I don't know if they do a playoff system, but it's like my playoff game.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah, so check out that Fantasy Board Game League and everything. And yeah.
And I look forward to your failure.
Thank you.
Yes.
So that kind of wraps up the show here. We do have an email.
And emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to email us. This one is completely picture-based, and we'll go ahead and post that one on Twitter just so everyone can see it. This one's titled, I never send you guys an email, so here's an email. Graphic intern don't care. So it is the storm surge inundation above normal tide levels of Hurricane Irma. It's in various colors and shapes, and it also looks like a big veiny penis.
Yeah. I legitimately got that like 20 seconds ago because I looked at it again. I'm like, why did he send it? Oh, it's a penis. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's clearly a big cock.
Yeah.
Because it's here to fuck things up.
Yep.
Just touching the tips together, I'm just saying.
That's true.
Never touch tips.
We'll go ahead and post that one for everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jake, from Draft Mechanic.
Yes.
If you would like to send us emails, like Andrew, to talk to us about Alexandria, it's emails at milehighgameguys.com.
Yes. You can also be like Jake and just send us something completely random.
That's, yeah.
We're a big fan of random over here.
Indeed.
Zach, were there any follow-up BGG stuff from old episodes? No. That's unfortunate. We could have talked about it. So clearly you guys should go back after you listen to our reviews and comment on the BGG threads. BGG Guild, Geek Guild 2731, where you can see Zach's wonderful posts about upcoming review episodes and ask questions give comments, feedback, that kind of thing. Maybe buy a house.
So yeah, someone has their house listing on there. So
which he did tweet me or message. I think it was on Facebook actually. He commented that he was thankful that we mentioned that his neighbor's house is for sale.
Yeah. He has like 1,200 board games. You could live next to someone with 1,200 board games.
Which, yes, go do that. We need more gamers to move to Denver.
Not enough here, clearly.
No, clearly not.
Not full yet.
No, it's not like there's 2 podcasts, a YouTube video show, a board game cafe, a bunch of like random board game, like other type shop things.
There are multiple board game cafes.
Yeah, 1 board game bar, multiple board game cafes. But yeah, so there's a lot of board gaming here in Denver. It's pretty great. If you want to get hold of us through Twitter, you can reach us. I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
And I'm Jeff_MHGG.
Ant, would you like to share your Twitter? Or are you going to be like David and be sneaky?
No, mine's Barrel_Overlord.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
I am the Barrel Overlord.
Yep.
We also have Facebook and Instagram /MileHighGameGuys. The Board Game Geek Guild that I mentioned, guild number 2731. And you can always send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
Right on. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Be sure to check out our episode Friday, where Ant and Jeff finally get their way, and we will be reviewing Blood Bowl.
Praising Blood Bowl.
Yeah, it's going to just be a big old Blood Bowl fest.
Yeah.
Good one.
It's going to be an hour and 45 minutes, and it's just going to be Ant and I talking about every minutia.
Impromptu game.
Zach and I are going to go to sleep.
Maybe. Yeah.
Zach is very near falling asleep as it is.
Yeah.
He's clearly had a long weekend.
Me too.
But so tune in for that on Friday. And yeah, we'll catch you all then. Until next time, I've been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I'm not hungover anymore, Jeff.
And I'm still just Ant.
Very exciting, Ant.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Ant just found a bottle cap in his glass for some reason.
Really?
It didn't fall off. I was like, oh, maybe it fell off the thing, and then
I still have this one.
What?
there's bottle caps behind you. Oh, it came off the wax.
The wax. There you go.
Mystery solved.
Punchboard Media, where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.